Hey, all you happy lost souls. How y'all doing? Before I get into the video about corundums and corundum identification, I just want to announce that we're getting very close, about 40 subscribers away from hitting the 500 subscriber mark. And when that happens, I'll be giving away a free sapphire and a couple other small gifts to the winner of that. And the only thing you have to do to be eligible is subscribe and put a comment down in one of the videos that is about the Sapphire contest. This is the third video I posted about it, so this is your third chance, unless you commented on one of the shorts. But this is your third chance. We're getting very close. When I'm about at 490, the final 10, I'm going to release that final video. It'll be a last chance video. And then we'll have a video to select the winner, and we'll pick a name out of the hat of those who have commented and that are subscribed prior to that hitting that 500 mark. So very, very exciting. It's my way to give back, and hopefully soon after the channel hits the 500 subscriber mark, the website will go completely fully live for sale on some of the stones and some of the merchandise. The channel has grown a lot. And before we go forward, since there are a lot of new subscribers, I just want to give you guys a quick little summary of what the channel is about. My name is Ron. I go by Ron Jr. I'm the creator of Happy Lost Souls. Happy Lost Souls was a music endeavor. It's what I call my musical group when I go out and play and perform. We used to go under the name Balderdash. But I kind of changed it to Happy Lost Souls to encompass my entire brand, my artwork, my music. And if you guys have been following the channel, those who have know that a lot of it is about the studies I've been doing in the ancient lost cultures of North America and some of the crazy finds that we have found in northeast Pennsylvania that are 60, 70,000 years old that don't fit the archaeological paradigm and model put forward. And this place is just a place of complete openness, academically open. It's a place of free thought, free expression, free idea. No idea is bizarre enough. I mean, like, you're all entitled to your own opinions. And I really feel like, especially in archaeology, the closed-minded nature and pushing paradigms forward have closed our eyes off to the truth and to discovering a huge missing story of ourselves. And I'm a big fan of Graham Hancock, and I watch a lot of Randall Carlson, follow their stuff a lot, and I'm totally on board with there was some cataclysm that kind of wiped out who we were, and what we remember is kind of a reset of all of that. But without further ado, now that all that stuff is out of the way, this is the beautiful yellow sapphire that is over 60 carats that I will be giving away in the contest. It's got color-changing properties. You can see how much bigger a piece of it, still in its corundum shape. But you can really see how these light up. You get that light on there, and these things just turn a golden color, lemon color. Some of these people refer to these as canary type sapphires, but these things will glow different color yellows under different light, and you can see how these things really capture and hold the light. So we get down on there, and you can see there's a little bit of starring, some inclusions in there, but very beautiful free sapphire there. Now these stones are not certified other than by me. I have a strong geological background. I went to college, Penn State there, where I was a laureate in anthropology and archaeological studies, and my degree was in psychology. But these are all corundums down here for the most part, and I wanted to kind of show you guys how to kind of find these, identify them, and just let you know how many different colors they come in, not to mention there's colors out there that haven't even been discovered or found yet. Pad Parashetta sapphire is like a yellowish pink sapphire similar to this color and this color. That'll change light. They're one of the rarest, most valuable colors. Got an orange one, looks like a little tangerine here. You can just see how these hold that light. And even ones that you think are blue are really clear, but it's the way they reflect the light. And you see this cotton candy looking one. Another huge bluish purple color changing sapphire right here. This goes from blue to purple. Ruby, the ruby right here. Another ruby right here. And these things will look, opaque, like not transparent, until you get the light on them and you can really see into the actual stones. A lot easier then. But you can just see some of these different sapphires. And sapphires are in their natural rock form known as corundums. And corundums, I have a little sheet over here. Corundums form in these type of shapes in nature. You get like the home plate looking shape. You can kind of match some of these ones up a bit. You start seeing, you get star sapphires that form, almost like a stop sign. And you start getting these shapes, and they naturally want to form these 5-sided, 6-sided helixes. You'll get this type, this paradox, where you have a triangle going one direction on one side of the facet and a triangle going the other. You kind of see that on this blue one right here. I'll show you. So you got the facet going in that one direction, and then we flip it around, and we got the facet running in the opposite direction over here. So we got a facet running up that way and a facet running down that way. So you get more of a double helixed side right like that. There's barrel type ones like this. You can see one that's still really in its barrel or its blocky formation right here. And you see that it's a square, this block. And this is actually, I don't even know what color it is because of all the, it's probably like a yellowish, clearish brown sapphire, which they have a lot of value as well. But what you'll see is, you see how this barrel shape occurs. Now I want to show you what happens when a creek cracks it and breaks a piece off. Right here you get a piece that was a barrel formation, and you can see right here, do you see those little curves, those swirls? That's really the barrel continuing forward in the formation. So these stripes along the side here, the ridges, are the same as these, but they've just been really polished down on this one. And this is a beautiful stone because it's got a lot of clarity to it. It's got like that orangish, pinkish color changing property to it. You can really see how these things light up and they hold the light. Even in these star sapphires, but with the color changing properties too on them. So I just brought out some of the more exceptional stones, some of the yellow sapphire, some of the corundum, and some of the complexes, and I wanted to show you the shape and how you can identify these. You can use a hardness detector. I showed you that in one video. I have a cheaper HKMIS little hardness detector. You really, with those, they're meant for polished or cut stones, for smaller stones. So what you really want to do with those is get a base reading of like a piece of glass first, or a piece of ceramic, something that is softer than a sapphire. See where that's coming in, at what dot, how many lights it moves up in hardness. Sapphire should be 2 lights harder than that always. Doesn't matter where it shows up on the actual reader itself, because if you're testing way bigger stones, and you got to be careful. You got to get on a flat, hard surface. You don't want to get it in a ridge or a nook in the stone, or else you're going to get a false hardness reading, essentially. So sapphires also have these color changing properties, and the reason I started getting interested in the corundum in the first place is because some ancient people in my area was making artifacts, arrowheads, pendants, scrapers, knives out of this aluminum oxide or corundum. All sapphire, all ruby, all it is aluminum oxide. A natural, straight up, perfect corundum sapphire is clear. I got examples of some of it in a complex here. You see this stuff here? This is beautiful, perfectly clear sapphire. and you can see it growing out of the aluminum-rich schist in those air pockets. It got heated up, and the schist containing the aluminum got hot enough under the right conditions enough for it to grow aluminum oxide. Once it hits the other layers of silicates, it stops growing because aluminum oxide cannot grow through silicates. But this is some of the clearest that I have. And these are some other, these are sapphiric or sapphire type complexes. I have a little water here. I can squirt real quick. Give me 1 second here. Squirt a little bit of water on these. So this coloration can stand out a little bit for you. See how that works. See, these are complexes down here where, you know, as the aluminum oxide and sapphires were forming, you got a lot of cool blue and color shifting stuff in these. You can really see it pop out in the light. So as the corundum, is still trying to keep that corundum shape, as these were forming, got some clear sapphire. Out of this schist, this aluminum-rich schist, the air pockets where the aluminum oxide starts to form must have gotten corrupted during that formation. Either sand, dirt, other things, impurities slid into that pocket, complicating that pocket, and you get a matrix. And you see all these little sapphires inside the schist, different colors, different complexes. Just want to show you that. And you get a way more pure complex over here, and you get this beautiful, like crazy clear sapphire, just ridiculously clear sapphire. And yes, and I got a lot of clear sapphire. There's a ton of clear in the area, and you know, I love when they're still in this bar formation. Look at it, it's a perfect little bar, a perfect little square. And we got another one right here, another perfect little bar, longer one. And you see how these form, and you can see the bars that they form in, and they're keeping true to these corundum shapes, okay? If you scratch any of these across the porcelain tile, they will not leave a mark, similar to doing a test on a meteor. If it leaves a mark, it's not a sapphire. It should take the tile with it. It should scratch the tile. Yeah, that piece is just crazy. You could see all the aluminum oxide, but you could see the sapphiring in the schist. It's just crazy. That was a piece of schist I cracked open. So, how do you get other colors? Well, your color changing ones, like that one that goes from dark blue to purple, like this one, it goes from blue to purple, light blues. These are all caused by impurities in the aluminum or other trace metals when the aluminum oxide is forming. So with the blue and the purple, you get titanium, ilmenite, and you get a lot of vanadium, vanadium in the area to cause that blue shift in the color. Red is caused by chromate. Can also be caused by cinnabar, mercury oxides, which there's a lot of where I find a lot of these. And I'll show you a great example right here. So right here, this piece of schist right here, do you see all the red, that beautiful red and that blue in it? So already we see the trace metals besides the aluminum. We see the shiny aluminum in the tin running through the schist and everything. But this red in the layers, and you can see the layering in the schist, these layers. And when these layers get air through them, or another piece of schist is on another piece, because they stack up like a wall, like bricks almost, in layers, in between those layers of air and heat, that's where the aluminum oxide grows and forms, and kind of replaces the schist material. So that's just a piece of schist I brought that has a lot of other trace metals in it, so you can see how these sapphires get colors. This is blue and red in it. So the blue and red, you get a lot of you get a lot of blue sapphire and ruby with that. But anyways, these are all corundums. This is like a small little like sampling of the amount that I actually have. I brought some of my nicer ones out, like this one and this crazy blue one. But sapphires, really their value goes on, you know, what are the colors? Are there a color combination? Do they color change? These make them highly valuable. Clear sapphires have a ton of value because they're used as substitutes for diamonds. Black or dark blue, not a ton of value. Like brown that's not transparent gets turned to sandpaper. I want to show you though, it's very important. This stuff is so easy to overlook. I want to show you what a rough ruby look like right here. This is a super rough corundum, super rough ruby. You see the angles though on it. You see how hard it is. You see that shape again, like right here. You get that shape of the corundum, the barrel cut down, and you can see that it's trying to form those faceted sides. Now this color shifts. A lot of your rubies look dark brown until different lights hit them and they get polished. I don't know how transparent this is. It has a lot to do with it, but these ones that are more transparent are extremely valuable. And that's the issue with selling. I know how to identify a corundum. I could tell you what it is, but you have to find somebody that really knows cutting and working with stone to give you a proper per carat assessment. And some of these I can get very close by matching them up with ones that have sold online. So some of them will be sold uncertified, some of the rougher ones, and you can get yourself a really good deal because you could buy an uncertified stone, get it certified, and its value go way up. So you're buying low to sell high, essentially, which some of these stones will be available. Some of these that are crazier and the quality's way higher, they have to go get certified and checked so I'm not underselling something too drastically. Some of these have the potential to be worth $1,000 per carat, and if the stone's 60 carats, you know, you do the math. You know, I don't want to sell a $60,000 stone for $100. You know, that's why you should subscribe and put a comment down so you're eligible for this free yellow sapphire down here. It's a huge stone. So, like, how do you find it? Where? Well, I'm in southeast Pennsylvania, and there's a couple things that have to be in the area geologically for there to be a good chance of this stuff being here. It has to be aluminum, because the stuff is aluminum oxide. It's like the rust of aluminum. So if you have a lot of schist or shale in your area and you can find the deposit, or there's a creek that interrupts the geological deposits of this, or if there's an uptick. In my area, there's this really unique uptick in the schist layers, and this the layer of the earth, the actual mantle, this elasticy molten layer of rock got pushed up so close to the surface, some of it actually got exposed to the surface. So if you think of two plates pushing a squishy object together, and it kind of ribbons upwards towards the surface. This uptick is where I live, and this uptick brought a lot of heat towards the surface and started cooking the schist and the shale. And by doing that, by heating it up, and the bubbles and the little pockets of oxygen in there, you have this area where there is literally tons of it. It's all over the place, aluminum oxide. Finding really cool quality looking pieces that are different colors are a little bit harder, but the stuff is everywhere, and some of it is very, very big. I have a lot of the small stuff out here. It's a very small sampling of it, but we get a lot of yellow sapphire, and like I said, I came about it because I couldn't figure out what the Native Americans were making their tools out of, because the tool design was different, not because they changed their methods. They changed their methods in engineering the tools based on how hard the material was. So instead of using like pressure flaking, they started using grinding, polishing, and abrasive methods to shape and work the sapphire. And really, anything that's not considered a ruby is generally a sapphire. So if it doesn't get that label, by color as a ruby, then it's a sapphire, and sapphires can be any color. Now, green, really high quality green corundums are known as emeralds. Go ahead and guess it. These are all aluminum oxide. And what makes aluminum oxide unique is it's right under diamonds. It's the second hardest mineral that we know of, essentially naturally forming. And that's why you could test it on a tile. It's harder than the tile, so none of it's going to rub off on a tile. If you have a red stone and you run it on a tile and it leaves a red mark, it's not a sapphire. It's something else. And that's another thing, color. What colors are, especially in United States, Pennsylvania streams, what colors of stone are you not really ever going to see? Blue. You always pull a blue rock up. There's going to be something. Red and bright yellows. These don't really occur in nature around here that much unless there's some kind of mineralization going on. There is blue quartz out there, but it's a lot more rare than people think. A lot of people will be like, oh, I got blue quartz here, and it's probably something else. It could be blue laced agate. There's another mineral out that's escaping my name that begins with an L that looks very similar to this color. It's like a lighter blue. But these are corundums, and again, you can see that formation, the shape of it. Still trying to keep that barrel or eye-like shape. You get this lighter color. But you can see how similar these are when we get them next to one another as far as a mineral. I mean, they're two different colors, but look at the cleavage, look at the shape. And the other thing that makes them stand out is when a creek polishes a rock that's softer like quartz, it turns into like a round little ball. These are so hard that, this is a square that sort of got polished. It got broken off on other rocks, probably under a waterfall or something like that. But the creek can polish them all they want, but it's still going to be a very irregular shape. And you'll see where that cleavage was attached before. And if they are polished somewhat, then they've been in the creek for a long time. This stuff's so hard. So right here, the creek tried polishing this one, this beautiful one. There's a Pad Perchetta, type color sapphire here. But again, it can't round it. It's too hard. I have a huge one that I beat with a hammer and a chisel over here. I beat the living crap out of this chunk trying to crack it the other day, and I got nowhere. That's how hard and robust this material is. Another great sign is you start finding ore that contains like traces of ruby and other minerals, and then you see this type of rubitized ore and these conglomerates with other sapphires and stones in them, and you'll see a green with it usually in the serpentine layer. You see this green and red together, you know that there's probably rubies in the area. It's peridotite, or paradite, I forget the exact name of that mineral. And then this stuff is I got a couple pieces on sale on the website with this when it launches. This is, you could see the little pieces of garnet, beautiful black and dark red garnets in here. This is Wissahickon Schist Garnet Complex, and it's the reason all these different minerals are here because of this weird schist layer. Well, anyways, please subscribe and put a comment down in this video to become eligible for that giveaway when we hit 500 subs. And again, if you're new, thank you for finding the channel. Come be a happy lost soul. Come support it, and come have fun and watch something that's a little stress-free, that is kind of out of the realm of politics, out of the realm of hassles of daily life that you hear all the time. And just relax and look at some new original music, some videos about rocks, and some videos about some mystery culture that was walking around North America prior to 13,000 years ago. Anyways, I love you all. Please subscribe. Peace.